Mumford Kid here, back again, guys. Welcome to another edition of Characters Why I Like Them, Series 2. And I bring you this time a character from the Spider-Man universe, practically one of my favorite of his very famous rogues gallery, considered his most deadliest enemy, Kraven the Hunter. Kraven, Sergei Kravenov. I decided to put Kraven in this because, yeah, I'm a huge fan of Kraven. I love the character. Though he started out as a big game hunter, and then he got this pretty much obsession over Spider-Man, and it was only Spider-Man, could regain his honor and things like that. He comes from Russian nobility, so I get where he's coming from, but he just made a very awesome character. Now, he was created by, of course, Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. First appeared in Amazing Spider-Man number 15. I know the numbering by heart, guys. Like I said, Kraven, pretty much was raised in St. Petersburg, Russia. He was, like I said, raised under Russian nobility, pretty much Russian aristocrats, and he kind of had it rough as a child. He didn't really have a good relationship with his father, but he admired Dmitri, his older half brother. And that was something that was always interesting about Kraven. But I think what intrigues us about Kraven so much is the fact that he's a character that has gone toe-to-toe with Spider-Man, has nearly killed Spider-Man. He's buried him alive a couple of times. He's done a lot of things that you really, give him respect for. And he always had a natural talent for, hunting and things like that. And that's where he pretty much, at a young age, when he was in Africa, that's where he changed his name to Kraven. In terms of his costume, okay, his costume has gone through a couple of changes, but they pretty much kept the traditional, that lion vest mane that he wears and things like that. And that was always, I didn't mind that at all. He's gone through a lot of evolutionary changes as well throughout his career. I mean, for example, when he first debuted in Amazing Spider-Man, he basically had a pretty obsession with the superhero community back in the Silver Age. I mean, he got a challenge from his half brother. For all those who don't know his half brother is the Chameleon, and Kraven would not only go after Spider-Man, but he would go after Iron Man, Kazar, Daredevil, and then later on, he would go after people like he would still go after Kazar and Spider-Man and people like that. In the Bronze Age, he would go after Tigra. He like really had. Then they really started to make Kraven really start having an obsession of hunting the super-powered community. And of course, that's when he brought in his lover Calypso, which was cool. I didn't mind that. Kraven got so obsessed, guys, and this is what really bothered me. So he got so obsessed that he nearly he killed himself. And for all those who don't know, the story Kraven's Last Hunt, the infamous story, it really showcased what I'm talking about. He really got obsessed. He started to act like Spider-Man and things like that. He buried Spider-Man. He had kidnapped Spider-Man, buried him alive for 2 weeks before going on a vigilante spree as Spider-Man. Uh, and then later on, when Peter was able to dig his way out of the grave, uh, he pretty much, you know, did what he did. It was not cool, but he did. Kraven has also been a founding member of the Sinister Six, and that was one thing that has always been always intriguing about it. You think about Sinister Six, you're thinking about many of Spidey's famous rogues gallery. One thing about Kraven is he is dangerous. He is very dangerous. He is skilled as an expert hunter. I think he would give Catman a run for his money, especially now. This guy can take it to a pride of lions, no problem. He was using an experimental like drug that would give him the physical strength and things like that of various animals and things like that, as well as mysticism. And that was always cool too. I never mind that at all. The serum that he took was kind of like a drug. It was kind of like a drug. It kind of warped his mind sometimes, but he was Kraven was still Kraven, no doubt about it. He had family. He does have a family. He's had wives and stuff. He's practically one of the few Marvel comic book characters, I should say, in the comic book histories, to have an official birth date. His birth date is January 1st, 1918. Not too many heroes can say they have a birth date, a literally legitimate birth date. That was one thing that I also one thing I've also loved about it is that a lot of people recognize him. He's not underrated in terms of people don't know him. They know exactly who this guy is, and they respect him for what he brings to the table and what he's done to characters like his arch enemy Spider-Man. When they say he is the deadliest of Spider-Man's villains, you better believe it. They're telling the truth about that. For a long time, Kraven stayed dead for a long time. He was dead for a long, long time. But like I said, he has children. He had 2 sons, and he had a daughter. His daughter now is still in the Marvel Universe currently, and she's just like Daddy. But the thing is, she's only 14, and she's just like Daddy. But like I said, during the story arc known as the Grim Hunt, that is where we got basically Kraven was resurrected back to life. The Kravenoff family felt that they wanted to capture all of the spiders, basically anybody with the symbol of the spider on them. So Spider-Man, of course, Madam Web, Arena, Spider-Woman, Julia Carpenter, Spider-Woman. At the time, she was Maddie Franklin. There were a lot of people, even Arena Cortazan, who was at the time, and they were able to resurrect Kraven back to life with the with basically a basically with the ability of it was ability of, if I'm not mistaken, if I can, it was sorcery and magic as well, and someone had to get sacrificed to bring him back. So basically now Kraven is immortal now. He can't be killed. One of the first things that when he was resurrected, he when he was resurrected, guys, he felt that nobody in the Kravinoff family wasn't worthy, wasn't worthy. So what he did was guys, he actually he noticed that Anna, his daughter, basically was the only dedicated family member to his family. So you know what, and she wasn't afraid of her father. So you know what Kraven said to her? Kraven offered her a chance to rebuild a better family by giving the command to hunt down and kill the last son of Kraven, Ananch, Alyosha. That was the other, her brother. That's some one hit shit right there, people. Because he felt that nobody else was, worthy in the Kravinoff family, he told them to eliminate all the other bloodline. That's crazy. However, because of him being immortal through mysticism, he, Kraven, his healing factor is highly increased. He still retains all his abilities that he had before, but they really have not really gone into the full display of his powers and his immortality. The last time we saw Kraven, he the only thing we know basically from Grim Hunt is that Kraven claims that the only person that can kill him is Spider-Man. Spider-Man is the only person that can kill him. And the last time we also saw Kraven in terms of comic wise, he dealt with Flash Thompson, Venom, when Venom was in the Savage Land, because that's where Kraven is now, because he's kind of gone mentally unstable now. He's kind of crazy now. And also we saw him fighting T'Challa, Black Panther, which was a really good fight. But yeah, now that he's back alive, yeah, he's even more deadly than ever. And like I said, that this new mysticism that involved him for his return, and the only person that is able to kill him is Spider-Man, that kind of gives him quite an edge, because Spider-Man's not going to kill him. Spider-Man doesn't kill, but he stays in the Savage Land as of right now. That's just one thing. As for outside of comic media, Kraven has been in every Spider-Man cartoon ever created. He has been in the 1966, 1967 cartoon. He He was in the 1981 Spider-Man cartoon. That episode was called The Hunter and the Hunted. Uh, and I remember that episode because Kraven was hired by Jameson to kidnap Kazar's companion Zabu. Um, that was interesting. I can't understand why Jameson would stoop that low, but yeah. And of course he was in Spider-Man Amazing Friends, and of course he was in, I say, the best adaptation of him in terms of his comic media wise. I would go with the 90s Spider-Man animes because he was kind of, obsessive and overprotective and things like that. He was done very well in that episode. But then he was in Spectacular Spider-Man. Now, in terms of this version of Spectacular Spider-Man, I felt they went too far with his ultimate look, because in the Ultimate Spider-Man, Kraven was in that, and he was able to like morph into this lion-like character, and they adapted that into the Spectacular Spider-Man series. He's been in a lot of the Spider-Man video games. Spider-Man 2 and the versus the Sinister Six. He was in the first Spider-Man game for the Xbox. Spider-Man 3, Web of Shadows, Shattered Dimension. He's been in a lot of games. The only thing he has not been put in yet is movies. And I say, without a shadow of doubt, they need to bring Kraven to the big screen. He is a perfect example. I even talked about how they could have did Kraven, and they still can kind of do it now. Like for example, here's a kind of example. Let's say with Amazing Spider-Man coming out, who we got in there? The Lizard, right? Okay. What if we don't see Peter really kill or defeat Doc Connors? He gets away and he's still on a rampage. That is a way of bringing in Kraven the Hunter, to come stalk and hunt down this lizard creature. And now it becomes a rescue mission for Peter to save his mentor, his teacher, Doc Connors, from this hunter, this big game hunter. A lot of people have said, get Gerard Butler to play him. All he needs to do is get back into his 300 shape that he was in. I can see where people are coming from with that. I can see a couple of other characters playing him, or as always, my motto: get an unknown. Unknowns always work because to me, guys, unknowns appreciate the work a little bit more, and you see them put a lot more effort into it than, they're more hungrier. They're more hungrier than sometimes the A-listers or so like that. That's just me. But I love Kraven. I've always had a big, even though, he's the bad guy, but, you gotta love a bad guy. What makes a good hero? Good villains, right? And Kraven is definitely one of those villains or adversaries for Spider-Man that has shown that throughout the test of time, no matter what, Marvel can bring him back and still make him badass than ever. And, like I said, going back to his debut in Amazing Spider-Man 15, which came out in 1964, to see him still have such a big following that he has now, it does this Spidey fan very proud to know that. Just to know that. He's recognized by IGN as the 53rd greatest comic villain of all time. Now, I probably would have put him a little higher, but it's good to know that even websites like IGN recognizes him as a good character like that. But other than that, guys, I think I talked enough about Kraven. I hope you guys enjoyed this segment of characters why I liked him. You guys tell me how do you feel about Kraven? Do you like him? Do you like the fact now that he's back? That he's immortal now? And how is this going to play up more with the fact that only Spider-Man seems to be the only person that can kill him? Nobody else can. You know. But other than that, you guys take care. As always, I'll see you guys next week, God willing, for the next installment of Characters Why I Liked Them. You guys take care.